The next item of business is a debate on Covid-19 Day of Reflection, an opportunity for us as a Parliament to reflect on the impact of the pandemic and its effect on communities across Scotland. And I call the First Minister.
President Officer, the annual Day of Reflection for Covid commemoration takes place this Sunday, the 9th of March. This year marks the 5th anniversary since the outbreak of the Covid-19 pandemic in Scotland and across the United Kingdom. This is a significant milestone, and I welcome the opportunity to gather in this chamber to remember all those who have been affected. The Day of Reflection offers a chance to come together to remember everyone who died during the pandemic. Losing a loved one is one of the greatest challenges many of us will experience, and we know all too well that those who experienced bereavement and grief during the pandemic faced unique challenges dealing with loss and grief at a distance. The Day of Reflection gives us an opportunity to remember the suffering endured during the pandemic, to remember the impact felt by all in our society, to remember the fear that we all experienced, and to remember the heroic actions of so many to support us all. The Day of Reflection has its origins in the recommendations of the UK Commission on Covid commemoration and also in the work of Marie Curie. I wish to put on record my thanks to both groups for all they have done to support bereaved families and to ensure that as a nation we continue to make time to remember those who lost their lives. Today, as First Minister, I express my deepest condolences to all those who lost family and friends, including those who are able to join us here in the chamber today. It is our solemn duty as leaders and as public servants to mark the Day of Reflection and to ensure that those who died are remembered by us all. In May 2022, it was my great privilege to attend the unveiling of Scotland's National Covid Memorial, the I Remember Walk in Glasgow's Pollok Park. I was struck at that event by the dignity and the strength of those who had suffered loss in such difficult circumstances. And on Sunday, I will attend the memorial in Glasgow to lay a wreath in memory of those who lost their lives. The commemoration is organised by Covid-19 Families Scotland, a group of bereaved families which was founded by Connie Macready during the pandemic. And I pay tribute to Connie, to Peter McMahon and to Carolyn Murdoch, who serve as the group's administrators, for all that they do on behalf of those families affected to ensure the legacy of their loved ones lives on. To support that legacy, in 2021 the Scottish Government funded the Remembering Together project, which commissioned creative practitioners and artists in all 32 local authority areas to co-create Covid-19 memorial projects. Remembering Together is about being part of a process to commemorate those who have lost their lives and those who have experienced loss and whose lives were changed forever. In closing, Presiding Officer, the annual Day of Reflection offers us all the opportunity to remember lives lost, to reflect on the sacrifice of many, and to provide space for people to consider their experiences of the pandemic in a way that suits them best. On Sunday, as always, we will remember.
2025 marks 5 years since Covid-19 changed our lives, our communities, and our world. In March of 2020, we didn't know what was ahead of us. We could see the rows of coffins in news footage from Italy. We knew something was happening, but we didn't know how profoundly it would affect our lives or how many friends and family members we would lose. Some people say we made it through the pandemic. We didn't, though, did we? We didn't all make it. And I am so sad for everyone that we lost. Each life taken was a beloved family member, friend, or colleague. Their absence leaves a void that words cannot fill, but their memories live on in our hearts. Today we reflect on the sacrifices required and the ever-changing impact the pandemic had on the nation and on people's daily lives. Many people still face debilitating symptoms with repercussions for their life and work. We pay tribute to the dedicated work of the health and social care staff and essential workers whose grit, valour and vital work saved lives and kept the country running. We will forever be in debt to the frontline workers who died during the pandemic. While we were all affected by COVID, as is always the case, peoples whose lives were already hard suffered even more. Disabled people, people on low incomes or who live in crowded housing, older people, and people with suppressed immune systems. No child or parent will forget the impact that the pandemic had on their schooling and family life, and no young person will forget how COVID hampered their start in adult life. Difficult times can bring out the best in us. We got to see what it looks like when we decide to house the homeless. We got to see who really is essential to our society and how much we take them for granted at all other times. We got extra space to walk in our towns and cities safely without cars, noise and pollution. We got to show that we care about our neighbours, checking in on them and wearing masks to keep one another safe. We got to see how transformative vaccines are in protecting us from lethal diseases. Everybody who lived through the pandemic will remember it their whole lives. People who are affected by long COVID, poor mental health, or who lost someone close to them will live with the pandemic their whole lives. Let us take the lessons of respect for essential workers, of helping our neighbours, of making sacrifices to help others, and let us use what we have learned to build a better future.